Doing another quick mic check here. Doing another quick mic check here. All right, let's go ahead and get started. My name is Rafael Curiel, City of Mcallen Employee Wellness Coach, and it is my great privilege to be able to come and talk to you here. Anybody who happens to stumble upon this this quick broadcast that we do every Friday. We try to do it at around 12:20, but every now and then things will come up and we'll just change the time. And hopefully you'll be able to watch, share, comment, like. Hopefully you'll be able to give your feedback as well. That's actually probably the most important thing about doing these types of shows is that, or these types of presentations, is that I get to spark a conversation with City of Mcallen employees as far as what it is they think they might want to do. Try to find any type of, anything that would cause them to have a hard time with getting started, anything that would be kind of a roadblock that would keep them from moving forward at a good pace. There's just a whole bunch of things that could prevent somebody from living out the perfect situation for their wellness and their health. And we know that when we start feeling good and that when we know that our body is functioning well, that we're going to be able to just get so much more done in the day, have a lot of energy, be good to the people that love us and the people that we care about. And that's why the employee wellness live class that we do here is something that we always want to hear from you, what type of topics you think you might be interested in hearing about, and just really, again, starting a conversation about these different things. And today's topic is going to be, could visceral fat be ruining or sabotaging your workout experience? It has been something that I've been noticing over the last couple of years working with different people, is that there's pretty much two camps, two types of people. You have people who really just love working out. I mean, they actually think about it, from one workout to the next. They're thinking about what they're going to do next, what they're going to try, where they're going to go, who they're going to hang out with when they're working out. It's just kind of, they're just kind of in between workouts, always kind of waiting for the next moment to get out, go for a run, do some hiking, do some swimming, do all different types of cool stuff. And, those people are really just enjoying their workout experience. Now, at the same time, you have another camp of people who, for working out with them is more like a chore. It's a little bit harder for them. Sometimes it might even feel more like a borderline punishment, that it's something that they have to do because they feel as though they're out of shape. They feel as though they need to do something to turn this trend around for them, and they don't really enjoy it. So if you're in one camp or the other, go ahead and sound off today. I'd like to hear from you. How do you feel about working out? What is it, your favorite part? Have you even noticed things about working out? When you try to bring somebody along for the ride, when you try to bring somebody along with you, friend, family member, coworker, to do a workout, and you two are having different experiences, what is that like? So the comments actually make the post what it is in a lot of different ways and places. So we would also like to hear your comments and ideas too here today. With that in mind, let's go ahead and get started about what it is that might be creating these two different camps. And my job here today is not to give a magic bullet solution. I really do emphasize taking some time to oh, great question. Thank you so much, Adrian. We're going to cover some of that right now, and I do thank you and appreciate you for asking that question. Adrian asks, how do you lose visceral fat? Yes. For those people who have a high visceral fat, I don't want to try to give a magic bullet solution. I don't want to give a one end all be all straight shot course. I kind of feel like that's what a lot of health and wellness videos try to do, and can leave us feeling a bit frustrated, honestly, because you might have already tried the solution that the person in the video is telling you to do, and it might seem like, okay, I've tried it, you know, there's no hope for me now. I've seen this next video on the same topic. What I'm going to recommend that you do is start a conversation with a health and wellness professional about your visceral fat, right? Because the health and wellness professional that you talk to is an expert on change, but you're an expert on you and how does it make you feel and what types of results are you getting because of having it or being kind of in a path of trying to lose it, right? So again, the video today is definitely not, it's a learning opportunity, but I don't want to try to solve everybody's problems through the video. We definitely want you to start having conversations with health and wellness professionals, specifically health coaches, personal trainers, registered dietitians. These people can help you out with your visceral fat numbers and then work with you through stages of change so that you can start getting those numbers under control and feeling better about your workouts. And so let's go ahead and talk about how you can make your next workout feel better and hopefully in the future become one of those people who really get a charge out of working out and exercising. The factor that we are talking about today then is visceral fat. Now, visceral fat is actually measured on a scale. So I guess the first thing that we're gonna do here is take a quick look at the definition of what visceral fat is. This is straight from Wikipedia, and you know that's the fun thing about the internet and Wikipedia is you can choose some descriptions sometimes that are a little bit easier to understand and not, you know, too vast. There's a whole bunch of things that can be said about visceral fat, but I like this definition, so I'll share it with you. Visceral fat or abdominal fat is located inside the abdominal cavity. It's packed between the organs, the stomach, the liver, the intestines, and the kidneys. So if you're having a conversation with somebody about visceral fat, and they say, "Oh yeah, my visceral fat's high. Look," and they pinch a certain place on their body, they're showing you something called subcutaneous fat. And your subcutaneous fat is directly what's underneath the skin. That you can measure by pinching. So if you're getting a number from somebody who's measuring your outsides with the calipers, they are measuring your subcutaneous fat, which it is important to also bring that down. However, subcutaneous fat in and of itself will not get in the way of exercise too much. It is more of a visual on how the body looks. And a lot of times when we see people who have lost inches and they do the before and afters, and you see the difference in the subcutaneous fat, that is important. The visceral fat, though, to contrast that, is actually on the inside. It is flowing through the bloodstream. It is around the organs. It is specifically around the stomach, liver, intestines, and kidneys. And that is the type of fat that will take a great workout and just make it harder to do for people. So when somebody has a high visceral fat and they start to work out, you got to keep in mind, or maybe you can imagine this. Or let me bring up a picture instead. All right, so this is the one that I put on the original post. So if you're looking for, let me go ahead and get rid of that for just a minute. On the post that I put, you know, kind of as the teaser for today's enlarge it here. As a teaser for today's show, we were saying, okay, this is the person that you see on the left-hand side has a higher visceral fat than the person on the right-hand side. What you see around the outside is the subcutaneous fat, and that looks more like skin. But if you look towards the center, right around this heart-shaped area in the middle, you have what is called the visceral fat. And so this was done, you know, through some scanning devices. You know, MRIs are getting a lot better. You're getting full color pictures now. And you can see that this right here would be then the subcutaneous, and then on the inside would be the visceral. So notice the difference in the size of the internal organs. All the internal organs are affected by the visceral fat, and visceral fat on a scale from 1 to 13, when you get your measurements done, 1 to 4 is excellent, and anything above a 4, you might want to start thinking about, thanks, Adrian. You might want to start thinking about how you can make changes to bring that visceral fat down. So that's what we're going to talk about next. So thanks for hanging out and for watching. Visceral fat, then, before I move on though, is that internal fat, and it's probably been building up since childhood. I've had the honor, the experience, the great opportunity to measure a lot of different people. And when we get these numbers and we show the visceral fat, sometimes a person will come in and they'll have a visceral fat of 4. It could be a couple, let's say a 30-year-old couple, man and wife, come in, get their measurements done, and the male's score is 15 and the female score is 5. And if that's the case, sometimes I'll take a guess and say, were you born in another country, or like where are you from exactly that your visceral fat is so low? And all the time it'll be a shock to them, especially if they haven't shared with me that they're from another country, or that they've only been living in the United States for about 10 or 15 years. You will find that a person who grew up in South American countries, people who come from a place where they have to cook all their foods from whole foods, when they can only eat very few prepackaged foods, not a lot of preservatives, things without a lot of food colorings, pesticides. There's no poisons as far as like poisons for pests put into the plants, and also that they have little to no alcohol consumption. So for those of us, myself included, I'll divulge right here, right now, even as a health and wellness coach, my visceral fat almost always comes out to somewhere between a 10 and an 11, which is actually, it's still on the high side. And for to be at a 10 or 11, these numbers don't change as you get older also. You just want it under 4. You just want a low visceral fat, no matter what your gender, what your age. And so you have a low visceral fat, something 0 to 4. And if you have a low visceral fat, then when you start to exercise, exercising will most likely feel good. For those of you who are into automotives, for those of you who are into engines, you understand that cleaning the gunk out of your engine by changing your oil, by lubricating and keeping the things that are moving parts clean, means that the engine just burns that much cleaner. Unfortunately, we are not made out of the same mechanical parts that a car engine is. So when we want to clean out our system, what we're going to have to do is we're going to take a long-term plan of making healthy changes, and then those changes will eventually help the organs themselves to kind of have a breathing space where they can start to, when they regenerate cells, they can get rid of some of the toxins, they can get rid of some of the pesticides, they can get rid of some of the things, because that's what fat does. Fat surrounds the foreign invaders that are found in certain types of food, found in certain types of products that we put into our body that really shouldn't be there, and so the visceral fat then goes up. And the number one filter that we have then for doing that is actually the liver. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over right now to show you a picture of what is going on with a lot of young people today is fatty liver. So we've got the young have this obesity issue. They're working through it. A lot of them are trying really hard. I hear from a lot of parents, they're keeping their kids really, really active, trying to keep them involved in a lot of things to prevent childhood obesity, type 2 diabetes in people under the age of 14 and 15. The problem is if young people are eating a lot of fast foods, the same place that provides the high sugar, sometimes caffeinated drinks with high fructose corn syrup, with cheap oils, with a lot of food colorings, will then be tried to filter, or will those things will be filtered in the liver, and then the liver is, which is responsible for cleaning blood, bacteria, toxins, and other foreign particles. But then the liver gets scar tissue in it, and it gets fat deposits. And it's predicted that a lot of the people who are having obesity issues at a young age, because of this high visceral fat, might need new organs in their 30s and their 40s. So for those of you right now who are thinking about how this is all going to play out in the next 20 or 30 years, you have to keep in mind that the young people today are not living the same childhood that you and me lived when we were alive in the 80s and the 90s. So even me, like growing up in 1980s, 1990s, yes, there was a lot of processed foods, but still I would say that 75% of the food that I ate was mostly cooked at home, and we did get some fast food every now and then. It's becoming more and more pervasive, and because of this, we're having kids with diabetes, obesity issues at a younger age. So if we're going to turn this trend around, the question is, what are we going to do? How are we going to turn the trend around? And we're going to make some changes, or we're going to talk about changes. You're going to talk about changes with your health and wellness professionals. There's a lot of good ones out there. Like I said, registered dietitians, personal trainers, health and wellness coaches. You can call me up and we can talk about, after we do your measurements, how you're going to get your visceral fat number down. And what I want to do in the meantime is to say that it's diet, it's exercise, and it's rest and recovery. So if you can work on those three factors, your visceral fat will not go down overnight. It will take time, but because you have a long-term strategy for bringing visceral fat down, you can not be so stressed about it. And remember, stress causes cortisol to increase, and that increase in cortisol will then actually cause more visceral fat to build up. So it's not a good idea to stress out about your health and wellness. Remember, thinking about your health and wellness is your meaningful time, is your mindfulness time. So when you think about your health and wellness, always think about how you can feel good in the moment, how today is a great day for you to start working on your health and wellness, and that you're going to get better moving forward. Going to the gym and really punishing yourself using exercise will cause visceral fat to build up. It will increase stress. And there are a lot of people who go to the gym and I see them getting worked up instead of getting worked out. Remember, at the end of your gym session, you should feel more relaxed, not stressed out and disappointed. So always practice gratitude in the gym. Have some compassion for yourself. Have compassion for the people that are working out with you, especially if somebody you know and love is deciding to join you in the gym for a workout session. Always work at their level and try to make things easier for them so that they have a positive experience. So compassion for yourself. Don't punish yourself. When you're doing your diets, start setting limits on the things that we already talked about today, high sugar foods, processed foods, cheap oils. If you just start pulling those things out of the diet, you won't have to go to extremes and take too many supplements that are designed to go in and change things around. So you don't want to, just like in art class back when I was in high school, we had the white paint and you could add some green and add some blue. And he says, but the instructor said, hey, if that color doesn't come out right, you're going to want to start again. Don't just keep on adding colors hoping you're going to get to where you want to be. It's the same thing with your diet. It's more of an issue of starting with a clean slate, pulling things out that you know are not good for you, kind of one thing at a time, getting used to living life without those things, and then your internal organs will start to heal themselves up. So that's what you can do for diet, what you can do for exercise, And for rest and recovery, again, get a long-term plan. You're going to need to sleep 6 to 8 hours a night. You're going to need to think that what you did 20 years ago when you didn't have the current knowledge you have today, it's in the past. You really can't go back and fix a fatty liver that was caused when you were in your adolescence and in your teenage years. But moving forward, you can do things to give that liver, heart, internal organs some breathing space so they can heal themselves up and bring the total visceral fat level down. So if you got questions on visceral fat, again, please call us up here at the wellness office. If you're a city employee, we got time to work with you, spouse or dependent. And the weather's changing, so it's a great time to have a fun time outside. Go ahead and go get some exercise. We got a lot of 5Ks coming up. We got a lot of outdoor events coming up. And go participate in that as part of your total exercise program. And you'll find that bringing your visceral fat down will happen easily and naturally, and you don't have to worry so much about it. You don't have to stress about it. All right, so with that in mind, if you're looking for events to go to, just check back here on the wellness page. Like, share. Remember, a lot of these people who are putting together wellness events or runs and 5Ks, they don't have a big budget for wellness. They can't just go and advertise on TV and big billboards and in newspapers and stuff. So it's really up to you, the people who are watching this, to like and share here on social media, as well as anything that comes out from the wellness program. We always appreciate those likes and shares too. All right, well, that's our time for today. Thank you for joining in. We'll be looking to hear from you real soon, and it's been a pleasure. Have a great day.